the fact that that so many people of color are locked up, and people think about that a lot of times as sort of an aspect of racism. That's true. But there's an impact of it on the ability of communities to continue to struggle. So I think you see the rise of, I've heard people talk about the rise of mass incarceration starting in the 70s, right? Well, what else happened in the 70s? There was the destruction of the Black Power movement, the Puerto Rican independence movement inside the United States, the Native American movement, and the white anti-imperialist movement, less so the latter, but mostly the Black movement and the Puerto Rican movement, by COINTELPRO and by the FBI and by the law enforcement agencies, not just the FBI, but the militarization of police. You can see that all starting at the same time. And so when you see the mass incarceration of especially Black youth, who are those people? Those are the people who 10 or 15 years before were the people who made up the Black Panther Party, the Revolutionary Action Movement, the Detroit League of Revolutionary Black Workers, and and the African Liberation Day movement. So all of those resistant forms were populated and created by Black people. So if you take the masses of Black people and you not only incarcerate many of them for all these advanced crimes that weren't crimes before and with long sentences that weren't long sentences before, then you can disempower the community in that way. In addition, you disempower their families, because now, in addition to having to struggle to make a living, their mothers, their sisters, their fathers, their kids have to struggle to keep those people in commissary, to schlep miles and miles and miles to see them, and to hold on to their homes. So in New York City, if you travel around, as I did when I got out of prison in the end of 1999, I was really appalled by what had happened to the neighborhoods that I remembered as vibrant, not rich, but vibrant, sustained Black working class neighborhoods that were now decimated. And the government was saying, oh, it's drugs, it's drug dealers, it's all that. No, it's mass incarceration. You can see where in every neighborhood that fed the prison system with thousands of kids and adults who were incarcerated, the housing stock was destroyed and turned now into big apartment complexes for rich white people. You can see that all over. You also see the impact on the schools, because when the schools became police institutions, where when you walk into a school, a public school in New York City, it's like walking into a prison. I mean, one time I went to speak in my friend Dequee's class in an arts high school in Midtown, and it was the first time I had been in a high school since I got out of prison. And I really had flashbacks, because you had to go through 2 security checks and a metal detector. And then there's this desk of cops, you know, hanging out, drinking coffee and laughing with each other. And I felt like I was in prison again. It was just like the cop station in every unit of every prison I was ever in. So when you turn the schools into places where kids are brought to jail for being late to class, which was happening in New York City for many years, you've destroyed education. So I see all of those. And then you see that the ideology that was pushed on the masses of people, which was believed broadly that crime was our biggest problem and that we needed more laws, and every time someone would commit a crime, there would be a new law in New York State and other places. We have sex offender laws now that mean if you commit a crime, a violent crime, in a place where there is a child, even if the child is like half a mile away from you, if they're in the same location, you are automatically forever a sex offender. I mean, it had nothing to do with sex, just a child present. And so the expansion of all those laws then created a consciousness among people that we need more laws, more lock them up. And that what was going on was actually something to protect people rather than something to destroy resistance to injustice.